Hey guys, it's Sean O'Connell, the managing director here at CinemaBlend, with a movie review of Tom Hanks' latest film, Greyhound, which is coming to Apple TV Plus starting on Friday, July 10th.
Air escort to Greyhound. You will now be out of range of air cover for the next 5 days. Safe travels to England. How many crossings does this make?
This is my first.
I'm going to let you guys know whether it's worth your time to get into the film on the streaming service. But before we do that, do me a favor, go down, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications. We are trying to keep up to date with all of these movies coming to the streaming services that you have available to you in your homes. So we want to make sure that you see our reviews and know which ones are worth your time. Greyhound is Tom Hanks' return to World War II, only this time it's a submarine battle instead of the D-Day approach that he took with Steven Spielberg in Saving Private Ryan. The thing about Greyhound is that Tom Hanks not only stars in it, he also wrote it, and you might think that that is really intriguing, but I'm here to tell you why that's a little bit of a problem for the film. You see, Tom Hanks as a person is deeply involved in history. He seeks it out on his own to read it for his own personal pleasure. He really enjoys reading about military strategy and all the things that went through our major battles, which is why he's been responsible for some of the most memorable World War II stories that we have seen in pop culture over the past few decades, whether it be Saving Private Ryan or all the work that he did on the excellent television series Band of Brothers. However, here, in Tom Hanks' screenplay in particular, Greyhound gets really bogged down in the type of jargon that you would expect to hear from submarine commanders. It's a lot of talk about coordinates and positions and where ships are.
We have hits directly on the convoy.
The Wolfpack's hunting us.
U-boat, starboard bound!
And when a captain is trying to bark these orders or commands at a crew, even in the midst of what's supposed to be a really tense battle, you can get lost in some of the vocabulary that comes with being period authentic.
Fire as they bear!
I think Hanks went above and beyond to make sure that the history was correct in Greyhound, and I trust his instincts in terms of putting that story together from that perspective, but it didn't make it interesting, and I almost wish that he had another co-writer that helped him not only develop the characters around him, because it really looks like Tom Hanks and a bunch of no-name actors who you don't necessarily know who they are or get invested in their characters. They might have allowed him to step back from the dry history of it all, focus a bit more on the tension, and make Greyhound a more intriguing watch. Not to pile on Greyhound, but the CGI in the film really took me out of it and made it feel more like the Polar Express, like the animated cartoon feature film that Tom Hanks did with Robert Zemeckis.
Hey, we got it!
And not in a good way. And what disappoints me most about this is that fine, I understand that you need CGI in order to recreate a World War II era period film. However, Tom Hanks has shown us over the years that he is fully capable of doing physical acting in period authentic films, not to keep going back to Saving Private Ryan, but to also go back to the ones he did with Robert Zemeckis, including Castaway, where he was actually filming on a deserted island.
Well done!
Where he took the time in between a huge gap in the middle of the production of Castaway in order to lose a ton of weight and grow a huge beard, and then they resumed filming. Tom Hanks is dedicated to the craft enough to make sure that the physicality of a role comes through. He also, doing with Robert Zemeckis, everything that he had to do with Forrest Gump, shooting on location and going around to all the different places where they needed to make sure that Forrest Gump felt as authentic and true to period as can be. You can do this, and I know that Tom Hanks is willing to do this, so it's a little bit disappointing that Greyhound relies as heavily on green screen and CGI that it does. During a recent interview that we participated in with Tom Hanks, a press conference that he did for Greyhound, he admitted that they shot on the USS Kidd, which is grounded outside of Baton Rouge. It's in the water, but it's not going anywhere. And they used that in order to capture the deck of the boat, but then they filled in everything else around him with the magic of technology. And it's great we have all this stuff at our fingertips, and you can do this. I mean, technology is amazing nowadays. You can make things look really convincing. I didn't think the CGI in Greyhound looked convincing enough, and it always felt like Tom Hanks standing in front of a green screen looking at submarines that I just knew weren't there. Alright, let's get to my final thoughts and star rating for Greyhound. I'm only giving it 2 stars out of 5. And, you know, it's possible that the movie might have looked better on a big screen. It was due to go to theaters. It was supposed to arrive in June. Obviously, with everything going on, with theaters still being closed, these films are finding a new home on streaming services, and Apple TV Plus stepped in to give Greyhound a platform. So I have to judge it based on how I saw it, which was on my television set, and it just looked like an expensive TV movie, and that was a little bit sad. Now, with the full experience of a Dolby Cinema and the sound that would come with it, it might have enhanced everything that was going on, but I don't think I would have gotten over the fact that the script really just gets bogged down in military speak, and that I never really cared for anybody that wasn't named Tom Hanks in the cast. It's a bunch of young actors who I've never seen before and didn't get to know anything about them over the course of the story. And even with Tom Hanks, like, there are times when Tom Hanks is able to lose himself in a character, and you kind of forget for a little while that you're watching one of the most famous actors in Hollywood nowadays. This always just looked like Tom Hanks wearing World War II gear in a movie, a lean 88-minute movie, but still 88 minutes that you're probably going to want to get back after you sit down and watch it. So 2 stars, Greyhound. Sorry, Tom. Maybe you give this a shot on Apple TV Plus, though. I mean, it's sitting there waiting for you if you have the streaming service. So if you do, check it out. Come on back here, hit the comments down below. Tell me whether you agree with me or whether I'm completely wrong. I love to hear that all the time as well, too. While you're down in the comment section, do me a favor, hit subscribe and turn on your notifications, because every single time that we post a brand new video here on CinemaBlend's YouTube page, we want to make sure that you come right over and watch it immediately.